Hi, New Life. Pastor Ross here. Ever since I was a little kid, I remember thinking about wanting to make sure I knew what the will of God was for my life. Back then, it was because I figured that God had this perfect plan for me and I had to figure it out. Otherwise, I was going to miss out on all kinds of opportunities and rewards. Since then, I've learned that that's not what it's about. That God's going to be with me no matter what choice I make. And it's not that he's got this perfect plan for me. What he's most interested in me is just loving him and trusting him in the moment. But that doesn't mean that he doesn't have some ideas or some preferences for me and when I have to make choices. It's because he cares about all those things. And so the question is, well, how do I know which one he cares about more? Is he leading me towards a certain path over another? Now, generally speaking, God's will is pretty clear to us. He lays it out for us in his word, where he says that we're to trust him, love others, and love ourselves, and also cheer for all Toronto-based sports teams. I'm pretty sure that last one's in there somewhere. But what do I do, though, when I'm faced with a certain choice? Choices such as my job or where do I live, or the city that I'm in, or what school do I go to, or should I marry this person? Where do I know? How do I know what God's saying to me in those areas and those choices? For me, I've tried to use this verse in Isaiah chapter 60 and verse 17 to guide me. In that verse, the last two lines say this. It says, "I'll make peace your governor and righteousness your ruler." That word, governor and ruler, both of those words are speaking to leadership and to guides. And God's saying basically that I'm going to use peace and righteousness to lead and guide you in your decisions. So whenever I'm faced with a decision, I try to look to those two areas. Number one, righteousness is really good because it takes off the table any of those choices that I know to be sinful. For example, if I'm contemplating a career as becoming a drug dealer or a car thief, I know that that's not what God's saying, so I can take those off the table. But there's a lot of choices that aren't righteous. They're not moral. They're neither unrighteous or righteous. For example, do I take this job over that job? Do I buy car A or car B? Do I get this house or that house? How do I discern in those areas? And that's where peace comes in. See, what God's going to do is I think he gives us a sense of peace and confidence in the right direction that we ought to go in. And that doesn't mean that you'll never have any kind of fear and anxiety, because those will always be present to some degree whenever we're making a big decision. But below that fear and anxiety will be a sense of peace and confidence. And so what I'd like to do is I'd like to take some steps in that direction to allow that peace to grow, to allow that confidence to grow in me. Because I also realize I don't have perfect discernment, and God knows that too. And so if I make a wrong choice, if I misunderstood where God was leading me, he will remove that peace, and that will be a sign to me that says, let's take another path. He's not angry. He's not upset with me. Even if I make the wrong choice, he's not angry and upset with me, because what he recognizes is the fact that I trust him as best I knew how. And regardless of what choice I make, I know he's going to be with me at that spot, in that choice. And that takes all the pressure off in the world. Have a great day, guys.